Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Today in the Bible Bistro, we're looking at Psalm 65. We're going to close out this psalm today by reading verses 12 and 13, which contain the fifth of our characteristics of God. So we've looked at this entire psalm except for these last two verses. We've seen that God is a God who hears prayer, He forgives sin, He creates all things, and He provides for His creation. So what do you think the next thing is going to be? Well, I don't know that any of us might guess at this next part. It's tied with provision, but it's also tied with everything else that's come before. So let's look at verses 12 and 13. Let me read those for us. They drop upon the pastures of the wilderness, and the little hills rejoice on every side. The pastures are clothed with flocks. The valleys are also covered over with corn. They shout for joy. They also sing. Isn't that beautiful? Again, more of this pastoral scene of pastures and flocks and hills and the corn and all that. It's a really lovely setting that the psalmist has created for us here. So let's go back again. God, He's a great God. He hears prayer. He purges sin. He creates all things. He provides for His creation. And then you'll come to verse 11 and 12, and you notice the connection between 11 and 12. At the end of 11, we have, thy paths drop fatness. And here in 12, they drop upon the pastures. So God, as He walks through His creation, providing for all things, fatness, that is increase and abundance, just falls off of Him. It just falls off of Him. So there's just blessings everywhere. The pastures of the wilderness are receiving the fatness. The little hills rejoice on every side. So whether it's the pastures or the little hills or whatever it might be, everything is receiving from the hand of God, and it is His fullness that is being received. The pastures are clothed with flocks, the valleys covered over with corn. They shout for joy, they also sing. The they there are the pastures. You'll notice we have pastures in 12 and pastures in 13. They shout, they also sing. So, what is the fifth characteristic here? Well, it is the blessings of God. This fatness that just drops on everything. The pastures, the hills, the flocks, the valleys. It's just wonderful. And what is the result of that? Is shouting and singing. Yeah, so can we apply this to ourselves? Absolutely. The provision of God in our life is doing exactly that same thing. He's providing for us, and that's almost very sterile. It's mechanical almost, because we have to be provided for. We have to have the food that it's necessary to sustain ourselves. We have to have the water that's necessary to sustain ourselves. We have to have those things. So it's almost like a baseline, of existence. But He does more than that. He does more than just give us a baseline of existence. He increases, and He crowns, and He fattens, and He gives goodness. You notice all these words of description here. The ridges are abundantly watered. The furrows are settled, they're softened, they're springing up. So all of these words take us from the baseline of the provision of food and water to something more. God is making it wonderful. He's making it full. He's making it a blessing. And that's what He does in our life. He drops upon us the fatness of His presence. So we get more than just the baseline of sustenance, the provision. He gives us blessing beyond anything that we can imagine, because that's the way He is. That's who He is. That is a part of the character of God. All the blessings. And what is the result? The same result as we had there in verses 1 and 2. The praise is waiting for Him in Zion. They shout, they sing for joy. Join me again next week. We're going to look at Psalm 66 here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.